Welcome, where we dive deep into gaming's most captivating stories for the perfect bedtime experience. Tonight, we journey into the twisted, blood-soaked world of Bloodborne to explore one of its most enigmatic and tragic figures, Lady Maria of the Astral Clocktower. If you enjoy these deep lore explorations, a quick subscribe really helps more than you think. It lets us know you want more of these epic nighttime adventures. So settle in, get comfortable, and let's begin this haunting tale together as we uncover the complete story of Lady Maria, from her noble origins to her final terrible fate in the nightmare that would become her eternal prison. Chapter 1. The Noble Blood of Cainhurst. In the grand halls of Cainhurst Castle, where crimson velvet drapes catch moonlight streaming through stained glass windows, there once lived a woman whose story would become intertwined with the very foundations of cosmic horror itself. Lady Maria was born into nobility, a scion of the ancient Cainhurst bloodline that had ruled over vast estates and commanded respect throughout the lands surrounding Gehrman. But this was no ordinary aristocracy. The Cainhurst bloodline carried within it something far more significant than mere political power. The Cainhurst nobles possessed what scholars would later call the Old Blood, a mysterious essence that flowed through their veins, granting them superhuman abilities while simultaneously connecting them to forces beyond mortal comprehension. This blood was both blessing and curse, offering extraordinary power while slowly drawing its bearers into the cosmic machinations of beings whose motivations remained as alien as their forms. Lady Maria's childhood was spent learning the refined arts expected of Cainhurst nobility. She mastered sword techniques passed down through generations, studied ancient texts written in languages that predated human civilization, and developed an instinctive understanding of blood manipulation that would later serve her in ways she could never have imagined. The Cainhurst Castle itself seemed to pulse with supernatural energy, its very stones infused with centuries of blood magic and cosmic influence. Yet even in these early years, Maria displayed a sensitivity to suffering that set her apart from her more callous relatives. Where other callous nobles viewed their supernatural abilities as tools for domination and personal glory, Maria felt a deep responsibility to use her gifts in service of something greater than herself. This compassionate nature would eventually lead her away from the isolating grandeur of Cainhurst and toward a destiny that would intertwine her fate with the very foundations of Gehrman's developing nightmare. The Cainhurst court was a place of intrigue and subtle menace, where political maneuvering often involved literal bloodshed and where the line between civilization and savagery remained perpetually thin. Maria learned to navigate these treacherous waters with grace and intelligence, developing skills in diplomacy and combat that would serve her well in the years to come. But she also absorbed lessons about the corrupting nature of power and the ease with which noble intentions could be twisted into something monstrous. The ancient libraries of Cainhurst contained texts that hinted at the true nature of the Old Blood and its connection to beings that existed beyond the normal boundaries of space and time. Maria spent countless hours studying these forbidden texts, gradually developing an understanding of cosmic forces that would prove both invaluable and ultimately tragic. The knowledge she gained during these formative years would later enable her to comprehend the full horror of what she and her allies were unleashing upon the world. Chapter 2. The First Hunter and His Workshop. It was during one of Cainhurst's rare diplomatic missions to Gehrman that Lady Maria first encountered Gehrman, a legendary first hunter whose workshop had become the beating heart of the city's defense against the growing beast Scourge. The meeting occurred in the context of negotiations between the Cainhurst nobility and the newly established Healing Church, as both factions sought to understand and control the distribution of the Old Blood that had recently been discovered in the ancient Pthumerian labyrinths beneath the city. Gehrman was already a figure of considerable renown by this time, having established himself as the most skilled hunter in Gehrman's history and the architect of the techniques and weapons that kept the city's beast problem from spiraling completely out of control. His workshop, located in a pocket dimension accessible through dream states, had become a training ground for the most elite hunters, a place where ordinary humans could be transformed into supernatural warriors capable of standing against nightmarish foes. The first hunter's reputation preceded him, but Lady Maria discovered that the reality of Gehrman was far more complex than the legends suggested. Behind his skill and determination lay a profound sadness, a weight of responsibility that seemed to bend his shoulders, even as his blade remained swift and sure. He had seen too much, lost too many apprentices to the hunt, and carried the burden of knowledge about cosmic forces that no mortal mind was meant to comprehend. Maria's introduction to the workshop revealed a world unlike anything she had experienced in the refined halls of Cainhurst. Here, function took precedence over form, and every tool and technique had been honed through countless battles against enemies that defied rational explanation. The workshop existed in a state of perpetual twilight, lit by pale lanterns that cast dancing shadows across workbenches covered with intricate weapons and mysterious devices. The other hunters who frequented the workshop during Maria's early days there formed a brotherhood, forged through shared danger and mutual dependence. They came from all walks of life, former soldiers, scholars seeking practical application for their knowledge, and individuals who had lost everything to the beast scourge and sought revenge against the forces that had destroyed their lives. What united them was their willingness to sacrifice their safety and sanity in service of protecting humanity from threats that existed beyond the boundaries of normal reality. Gehrman's teaching methods were both rigorous and compassionate, demanding absolute dedication while showing genuine care for the well-being of his students. He understood that the path of a hunter led inevitably toward madness and death, but he also believed that this sacrifice was necessary to preserve something of value in a world increasingly dominated by cosmic horror. His relationship with Maria developed slowly, built on mutual respect for each other's skills and shared commitment to protecting those who could not protect themselves. The weapons crafted in Gehrman's workshop represented the pinnacle of hunting technology, each one designed to exploit specific weaknesses in the various creatures that plagued Gehrman's streets. Maria learned to forge and modify these instruments of war, developing an intimate understanding of the materials and techniques that could wound beings whose very existence challenged the laws of physics. This knowledge would prove crucial in the conflicts to come. Chapter 3. Blood and Steel. The Art of the Hunt. Under Gehrman's tutelage, Lady Maria discovered that hunting was far more than simple combat. It was an art form that demanded perfect integration of physical skill, tactical awareness, and psychological resilience. The beasts that prowled Gehrman's streets were not mere animals driven by hunger or territory, but twisted reflections of humanity itself, creatures that embodied the corruption that lurked within every soul touched by the old blood. Maria's Cainhurst heritage provided her with natural advantages that other hunters lacked. Her noble blood granted her enhanced physical capabilities and an intuitive understanding of blood manipulation that she learned to weaponize in increasingly sophisticated ways. The technique of blood arts became her signature, allowing her to channel her own life essence into devastating attacks that could cleave through supernatural defenses that would turn aside conventional weapons. The development of Maria's fighting style reflected both her aristocratic background and her growing understanding of the cosmic forces that threatened humanity. She combined the elegant sword techniques passed down through generations of Cainhurst nobility with the brutal pragmatism demanded by hunting creatures that could regenerate from seemingly fatal wounds. Her blade work was a deadly dance that merged beauty with violence, creating patterns of destruction that were as aesthetically striking as they were effective. Training under Gehrman revealed the deeper philosophies that underpinned the hunt. Each encounter with a beast was simultaneously a battle for survival and a confrontation with humanity's own potential for corruption. The hunters who fought these creatures were walking a razor's edge between salvation and damnation, using powers derived from the same cosmic sources that created their enemies. This paradox created a constant tension that tested the sanity and moral integrity of even the most dedicated hunters. Maria's partnership with other workshop hunters provided her with insights into different approaches to the hunt. Some hunters, like Ludwig, embraced the cosmic power offered by their weapons and the old blood, viewing transformation as an acceptable price for the strength needed to protect humanity. Others, like the hunters who would later form the Church's forces, sought to impose order and hierarchy on the chaos of the hunt, creating institutional structures that could survive beyond any individual hunter's career. The beasts themselves revealed disturbing truths about the nature of the old blood and its effects on human consciousness. Many of the creatures that hunters fought had once been ordinary citizens of Gehrman, transformed by exposure to cosmic influences they could not understand or resist. This knowledge weighed heavily on Maria, who began to question whether the hunt was truly saving humanity or simply managing the symptoms of a deeper corruption that could never be fully cured. The weapons Maria learned to craft and wield in Gehrman's workshop were marvels of both engineering and occult science. Her signature weapon, the Rokkoryo, represented the perfect fusion of Cainhurst elegance and workshop functionality, a transforming blade that could adapt to different combat situations while channeling the wielder's blood into devastating attacks. The weapon became an extension of her will and her connection to the cosmic forces that shaped the hunt. Chapter 4. The Research Hall. Seeds of Horror. Seeds of Horror. It was Maria's reputation as one of Gehrman's most promising students that eventually led to her involvement in the Healing Church's most ambitious and ultimately catastrophic project, the Research Hall. This facility, hidden deep within the Astral Clocktower, was intended to unlock the secrets of cosmic consciousness and grant humanity the eyes on the inside that would elevate the species to a higher plane of existence. The Research Hall represented the Church's attempt to systematize and control the process of cosmic ascension that they had observed occurring naturally in certain individuals exposed to the old blood. Rather than leaving transformation to chance, the Church's scholars sought to create reliable methods for inducing cosmic awareness while maintaining enough human consciousness to make the subjects useful for their purposes. Lady Maria's role in these experiments was initially that of a guardian and supervisor, ensuring that the test subjects remained secure and that the research proceeded according to the Church's protocols. Her combat skills and noble bearing made her an ideal choice for maintaining order in a facility where the boundaries between researcher and subject often became disturbingly blurred. The patients brought to the Research Hall were primarily individuals who had already shown signs of cosmic influence, people who claimed to see invisible beings, who spoke in languages that had never been recorded, or who displayed supernatural abilities that defied scientific explanation. The Church's scholars believed that these individuals were already partially transformed and that careful study and experimentation could complete their ascension while preserving their usefulness. The methods employed in the Research Hall were both ingenious and horrifying, representing the Church's best attempts to understand and replicate the cosmic transformation process. Patients were subjected to carefully controlled doses of various blood serums, exposed to artifacts recovered from the Pothomirian labyrinths, and encouraged to meditate on cosmic symbols and concepts until their consciousness began to expand beyond normal human limitations. Maria watched these experiments with growing unease, as she witnessed the gradual dehumanization of the subjects. The enlarged heads and vacant expressions of the patients revealed the terrible cost of forced cosmic ascension. While the subjects gained access to higher realms of knowledge and perception, they lost the emotional connections and personal motivations that made existence meaningful. They became living repositories of cosmic information rather than conscious beings capable of growth and relationship. The research revealed disturbing truths about the nature of cosmic consciousness and its relationship to human identity. The scholars discovered that genuine cosmic awareness required the abandonment of individual personality and ego, transforming conscious beings into nodes in a vast cosmic network, rather than independent entities capable of making meaningful choices. This discovery suggested that the Great One's quest for surrogate children was doomed from the start, as the very process of cosmic ascension destroyed the qualities that made beings suitable as children. The failure of the Research Hall experiments became increasingly apparent as Maria continued her duties there. The patients who achieved the desired cosmic awareness became catatonic and unresponsive, unable to communicate their newfound knowledge or apply it to practical problems. Those who retained their humanity proved unable to maintain cosmic consciousness for extended periods, reverting to their original state or suffering complete mental breakdown. Chapter 5. The Fishing Hamlet. A Sin Beyond Redemption. The tragedy that would ultimately define Lady Maria's legacy began with the discovery of a remote coastal settlement known as the Fishing Hamlet, where the inhabitants had achieved a form of harmonious coexistence with a Great One they worshipped as Cos. This ancient being had taken the form of a massive sea creature whose corpse still emanated cosmic power long after its physical death, creating a unique environment where human and cosmic consciousness could interact without the corruption that characterized such encounters elsewhere. The Fishing Hamlet represented everything that the Healing Church's experiments had failed to achieve, a genuine synthesis of human and cosmic elements that preserved the best qualities of both. The villagers had gained access to cosmic knowledge and power while maintaining their humanity, their emotional connections, and their capacity for growth and relationship. They had become something new and wonderful, a bridge between mortal limitations and cosmic transcendence. When word of the hamlet's existence reached the church hierarchy, it was immediately recognized as both an opportunity and a threat. The villagers' successful integration with cosmic forces proved that the church's approach to ascension was fundamentally flawed, while their independence from church authority challenged the organization's claims to exclusive understanding of cosmic truth. The decision was made to investigate the hamlet, and if necessary, bring it under church control. The expedition to the Fishing Hamlet was presented to its participants as a research mission, an opportunity to study the villagers' techniques and perhaps learn from their success. Lady Maria Gehrman and several other elite hunters were selected for their combat skills and their ability to handle supernatural threats, while church scholars were included to document and analyze whatever they discovered. The reality of the hamlet exceeded even the most optimistic expectations of the expedition members. The villagers had indeed achieved a form of cosmic ascension that preserved their humanity, but they had also developed technologies and techniques that surpassed anything the church had accomplished. Their understanding of blood manipulation, cosmic geometry, and dimensional travel far exceeded the crude experiments being conducted in the research hall. The villagers welcomed the church expedition with hospitality and openness, eager to share their knowledge and learn from the visitors in return. They had no concept of the church's territorial ambitions, or their tendency to view cosmic power as something to be controlled and monopolized. The Great One, Kos, had taught them to see cosmic consciousness as something to be shared freely, a gift that grew stronger when distributed rather than hoarded. The corruption of the mission became apparent gradually as the church scholars began to view the villagers not as equals to be learned from, but as specimens to be studied and resources to be exploited. The villagers' success made them valuable, but their independence made them dangerous. The decision was made to bring the hamlet under church control, by force if necessary. The massacre that followed was both swift and thorough, as the church expedition turned their weapons against the very people who had welcomed them as guests. Lady Maria found herself participating in genocide, using her skills and her noble blood to destroy a community that had achieved something beautiful and unprecedented. The villagers, despite their cosmic enhancements, were unprepared for betrayal of such magnitude and were systematically slaughtered. The murder of the orphan of Kos represented the nadir of the expedition's moral corruption, as church scholars killed the Great One's child in order to harvest its blood and study its anatomy. This act of cosmic decide violated fundamental laws of existence and created a wound in reality itself that would never fully heal. The orphan's death cry echoed across dimensional boundaries, alerting cosmic entities throughout the universe to humanity's capacity for betrayal and murder. Chapter 6: The Weight of Guilt and the Forsaking of Blood. The return journey from the Fishing Hamlet was conducted in absolute silence as the expedition members struggled to process the magnitude of what they had done. Lady Maria, in particular, was devastated by her participation in the massacre, recognizing that she had used her noble gifts and her training under Gehrman to commit an act of unforgivable evil. The knowledge and artifacts recovered from the hamlet would indeed advance the church's research, but at a cost that no rational person could consider worthwhile. The techniques developed by the villagers were incorporated into church doctrine. Their blood samples were used to enhance existing serums, and their cosmic insights were integrated into theological frameworks that justified their destruction. The church had gained everything it wanted from the hamlet, except for the wisdom to understand what it had lost. Maria's psychological response to the massacre was immediate and profound. She had always prided herself on using her supernatural abilities to protect the innocent and preserve what was good in the world. But the Fishing Hamlet had forced her to confront the ease with which noble intentions could be corrupted by institutional pressure and cosmic ambition. The blood on her hands was both literal and metaphorical, a stain that could never be washed clean. The forsaking of blood that followed represented Maria's attempt to reject the very foundation of her power and identity. By abandoning the blood arts that had defined her fighting style and made her valuable to the church, she hoped to distance herself from the cosmic forces that had enabled the hamlet's destruction. This self-imposed limitation was both penance and protection, an attempt to ensure that she could never again be used as an instrument of cosmic genocide. The practical consequences of Maria's decision were significant, as she lost access to many of the abilities that had made her one of Gehrman's most effective students. Her combat effectiveness declined dramatically, and her role within the workshop structure became increasingly marginal. Other hunters began to view her as unreliable, unable to contribute effectively to missions that required the full use of cosmic enhanced abilities. Gehrman's response to Maria's crisis revealed the depth of his feelings for his student and his own struggle with the moral compromises demanded by the hunt. He understood her revulsion at what had occurred in the hamlet, but he also recognized that the cosmic forces threatening humanity required responses that normal ethical frameworks could not accommodate. His attempts to console Maria were hampered by his own guilt and his inability to offer any genuine justification for what they had done. The relationship between Maria and Gehrman during this period became increasingly strained as they struggled to reconcile their continued partnership with their shared knowledge of their crime. The workshop, which had once been a place of camaraderie and shared purpose, became haunted by unspoken guilt and mutual recrimination. The other hunters sensed the tension but lacked the context to understand its source. Maria's withdrawal from active hunting duties allowed her to observe the broader consequences of the Hamlet massacre as they rippled through Gehrman's social and cosmic fabric. The knowledge gained from the villagers accelerated the church's experiments, but also attracted the attention of cosmic entities who had previously ignored human affairs. The death of Kos's orphan had created enemies for humanity that were both patient and implacable in their desire for justice. The artifacts recovered from the hamlet began to exhibit disturbing properties as they were integrated into church research projects. Weapons crafted using Hamlet techniques proved more effective against beasts, but also more corrosive to their wielders' sanity. Blood serums derived from villager samples granted enhanced abilities, but created dependencies that could only be satisfied through increasingly extreme measures. Chapter 7. The Astral Clocktower, Guardian of Dark Secret. In the years following the Fishing Hamlet massacre, Lady Maria retreated from the active world of hunting and research to take up residence in the Astral Clocktower, a mystical structure that existed at the intersection of multiple dimensional layers. This tower served as both repository and prison for the most dangerous knowledge and artifacts recovered from the church's various expeditions and experiments. The clock tower was more than a simple storage facility. It was a cosmic construct designed to contain and isolate materials that posed existential threats to reality itself. The artifacts from the Fishing Hamlet, samples of the old blood in its most potent forms, and research notes detailing the church's most horrific experiments were all housed within its walls, protected by dimensional barriers that prevented their influence from spreading into the wider world. Maria's role as the clock tower's guardian was both punishment and privilege, acknowledging her guilt while utilizing her skills and knowledge to prevent further catastrophes. Her noble blood and her training under Gehrman made her uniquely qualified to handle the cosmic energies that saturated the tower, while her revulsion at the Hamlet massacre ensured her commitment to preventing the misuse of the materials under her protection. The isolation of the clock tower suited Maria's psychological state during this period, as she struggled to find meaning and purpose in a world where her greatest achievements had been perverted into instruments of genocide. The tower's otherworldly nature created a buffer between her and the normal flow of human affairs, allowing her to exist in a state of suspended animation where she could avoid confronting the ongoing consequences of her actions. The research hall, located within the upper levels of the clock tower, continued to operate under Maria's supervision, though the focus of the experiments had shifted dramatically following the Hamlet massacre. The techniques recovered from the villagers allowed for more sophisticated approaches to cosmic ascension, but the moral weight of their source made continued research increasingly difficult to justify. The patients housed in the research hall during Maria's tenure represented the church's ongoing attempts to create artificial great ones, or cosmic human hybrids. These experiments built upon the knowledge gained from the Hamlet massacre, using techniques that had been developed through centuries of harmonious cooperation to force rapid transformation in subjects who lacked the cultural and spiritual preparation that had made the villagers' ascension successful. The failures that resulted from these forced transformation attempts were both predictable and horrifying, as subjects experienced rapid physical and mental degradation that left them as grotesque parodies of cosmic consciousness. Their enlarged heads and vacant expressions revealed the terrible cost of attempting to shortcut the natural process of cosmic development, creating beings that possessed fragments of cosmic awareness without the wisdom or emotional capacity to use it constructively. Maria's daily routine in the clock tower involved monitoring these failed experiments, ensuring that their cosmic emanations remained contained, and preventing any attempts to escape or spread their influence beyond the tower's protective barriers. This work required constant vigilance and emotional detachment, as she was forced to witness the ongoing suffering of beings who had been transformed into living monuments to the church's hubris. The artifacts from the Fishing Hamlet required special attention, as they retained active connections to cosmic forces that could influence reality in unpredictable ways. Weapons that had been blessed by Kos continued to exhibit supernatural properties, while blood samples from the villagers remained potent enough to trigger spontaneous transformations in anyone exposed to them. Maria's knowledge of blood arts, despite her formal renunciation of them, proved essential for containing these materials safely. The research hall's library contained the most comprehensive collection of cosmic knowledge assembled anywhere in the known world, including texts recovered from Pthumenian ruins, notes from church experiments, and documentation of the Fishing Hamlet's techniques. This repository represented humanity's greatest insights into the nature of cosmic consciousness, but it also served as a catalogue of atrocities committed in the pursuit of that knowledge. Chapter 8. The Doll. Love Made Manifest. Among the most poignant artifacts housed in the Astral Clocktower was a beautiful doll crafted by Gehrman in the image of his beloved student, Lady Maria. This creation represented far more than simple craftsmanship. It was a monument to love, loss, and the desperate human need for connection in the face of cosmic isolation. Gehrman had labored over the doll's construction with obsessive attention to detail, capturing not just Maria's physical appearance, but also the essence of her personality and the qualities that had made her so precious to him. Every curve of the doll's face, every fold of her clothing, every strand of her hair had been crafted with loving precision, creating a work of art that transcended mere representation to become something approaching resurrection. The doll's presence in the clock tower served as a constant reminder to Maria of the relationships she had abandoned in her self-imposed exile. Gehrman's creation was both tribute and accusation, honoring her memory while highlighting the pain that her withdrawal had caused to those who cared about her. The doll's serene expression seemed to mock Maria's anguish, suggesting a peace and acceptance that she herself could never achieve. The cosmic significance of the doll would not become apparent until much later, when the moon presence responded to Gehrman's prayers by bringing the creation to life within the hunter's dream. This act of cosmic compassion transformed the doll from a static memorial into a living being capable of providing comfort and guidance to the hunters who would follow in Maria's footsteps. The moon presence's decision to animate the doll revealed important truths about the nature of cosmic consciousness and its relationship to human emotion. The Great One recognized the genuine love that had motivated Gehrman's creation and responded with an act of unprecedented generosity, creating artificial life as a gift to ease the first hunter's suffering. However, the doll's artificial nature ensured that she could never fully replace what Gehrman had lost in Maria's withdrawal. While the doll possessed Maria's appearance and many of her mannerisms, she lacked the independence, the capacity for growth, and the potential for surprise that characterized genuine human relationships. She was a beautiful shadow of the original, capable of providing comfort, but incapable of creating the kind of dynamic, challenging partnership that had made Maria so valuable to Gehrman. The doll's existence also highlighted the tragic irony of cosmic compassion, as the Great One's attempts to help humanity often created new forms of suffering, even as they addressed immediate needs. The moon presence's gift allowed Gehrman to experience a form of Maria's presence, while simultaneously making it impossible for him to move beyond his grief and form new relationships with living beings. Maria's awareness of the doll's existence added another layer to her psychological torment, as she recognized that her withdrawal from the world had caused such pain that cosmic intervention had been required to address it. The knowledge that a Great One had taken pity on Gehrman's suffering because of her actions intensified her guilt and made the possibility of reconciliation seem even more remote. The doll's role in the hunter's dream would eventually prove crucial to the cosmic reproduction project that motivated the Great One's interest in humanity. Her nurturing presence provided essential support for hunters undergoing the dangerous process of cosmic initiation, while her artificial nature ensured that she could guide them toward transcendence without being corrupted by the emotional attachments that would interfere with their transformation. The relationship between the original Maria and her artificial duplicate represented one of the most complex explorations of identity, love, and substitution in the entire Bloodborne narrative. The doll was simultaneously tribute to Maria's significance and proof of her irreplaceable nature, honoring her while highlighting the impossibility of truly recreating what had been lost. Chapter 9. The Hunter's Nightmare. Justice and Torment. The cosmic crime committed at the Fishing Hamlet could not remain unanswered forever, and the justice that eventually manifested took the form of the Hunter's Nightmare, a pocket dimension created as both prison and punishment for those who had participated in the massacre. This nightmare realm represented cosmic law in its purest form, ensuring that the perpetrators of the hamlet's destruction would face consequences proportional to their crimes. The creation of the Hunter's Nightmare was attributed to Kos, the Great One, whose orphan had been murdered during the church expedition. Even in death, Kos retained enough cosmic power to reshape reality in service of justice, creating a space where the hunters who had betrayed the hamlet's trust would experience eternal torment appropriate to their crimes. The nightmare's geography reflected the psychological landscape of guilt and remorse, with familiar locations from Gehrman and the hamlet twisted into forms that emphasized the horror of what had occurred there. The streets ran with blood that could never be cleansed. The buildings were populated by vengeful spirits of the massacre victims, and the very air was thick with accusations and lamentations that could drive listeners to madness. Lady Maria's presence in the Hunter's Nightmare was initially mysterious, as she appeared to exist there in a state that was neither fully alive nor completely dead. Her consciousness had become bound to the nightmare realm through her participation in the Hamlet massacre, but her deep remorse and genuine grief for the victims had earned her a unique position within the cosmic justice system. Rather than experiencing the mindless torment that had been inflicted on other participants in the massacre, Maria retained her intelligence and personality, while serving as a guardian, preventing access to the deeper levels of the nightmare, where the most horrific secrets were hidden. This role was simultaneously punishment and redemption, acknowledging her guilt while utilizing her continued commitment to protecting others from harm. The research hall's recreation within the Hunter's Nightmare served as a monument to the institutional failures that had made the Hamlet massacre possible. The patients who had suffered in the church's experiments were given new form and purpose as cosmic judges, their enhanced awareness allowing them to see the full scope of the crimes committed in the name of progress and enlightenment. The Nightmare's version of the research hall was both more honest and more horrifying than the original, as the cosmic perspective removed all the rationalization and justification that had allowed the experiments to continue. The patient's suffering was revealed in its full magnitude, while the researcher's moral blindness was exposed as willful ignorance rather than innocent mistake. Maria's position as the Nightmare's guardian required her to confront visitors who sought access to the deeper secrets hidden within the cosmic prison. These encounters forced her to relive the trauma of the Hamlet massacre, while serving as a final barrier protecting the world from knowledge that could enable similar atrocities. The weapons and techniques that Maria employed as the Nightmare's guardian represented a synthesis of her original abilities with new powers granted by her unique status within the cosmic justice system. Her blood arts, which she had forsaken in life, were restored and enhanced by cosmic authority, allowing her to channel the rage and grief of the massacre victims into devastating attacks against those who would threaten the nightmare's purpose. The tragic irony of Maria's situation in the Hunter's Nightmare was that her genuine remorse and continued commitment to justice had earned her a form of immortal consciousness that prevented her from finding the peace that death might have provided. She was trapped in an eternal cycle of guardianship and confrontation, forced to relive her greatest failure while preventing others from repeating her mistakes. The nightmare's influence extended beyond its own dimensional boundaries, affecting the waking world through dreams and visions that plagued those connected to the Hamlet massacre. Survivors of the expedition experienced recurring nightmares that revealed the true nature of their crimes, while the artifacts recovered from the Hamlet began to exhibit increasingly malevolent properties. Chapter 10. The Rakuyo, a blade reborn, in Nightmare. Within the depths of the Hunter's Nightmare, Lady Maria's signature weapon, the Rakuyo, had undergone a transformation that reflected both her fall from grace and her continued connection to the cosmic forces that shaped reality. This elegant blade, which had once symbolized the perfect fusion of Cainhurst nobility and hunter pragmatism, had become something altogether more complex and dangerous. The Rakuyo's original design represented the pinnacle of Maria's weapon crafting skills, combining the flowing techniques of Cainhurst swordplay with the brutal efficiency demanded by hunting supernatural creatures. The weapon could separate into twin blades for enhanced speed and versatility, while its blood-channeling capabilities allowed Maria to imbue her attacks with the cosmic power flowing through her noble veins. In the Nightmare realm, the Rakuyo had absorbed aspects of Maria's guilt and rage, becoming a conduit for the emotional trauma that defined her existence as the Nightmare's guardian. The weapon's blade now gleamed with an inner light that reflected the cosmic justice system's authority, while its blood-channeling capabilities had been enhanced to allow for techniques that surpassed anything Maria had achieved in life. The process of reclaiming the rakuyo from its resting place within the nightmare required confronting not just Maria herself but also the accumulated weight of her crimes and regrets. The weapon had become so intimately connected to her consciousness that claiming it meant accepting a portion of her burden. Understanding the full scope of what had occurred at the Fishing Hamlet and the ongoing consequences of those actions. The rakuyo's transformation within the nightmare also reflected the broader theme of corruption and redemption that ran throughout Maria's story. Just as Maria herself had fallen from noble hunter to complicit participant in genocide before finding a form of redemption as the nightmare's guardian, her weapon had undergone its own journey from instrument of protection to tool of destruction to artifact of cosmic justice. The blood arts that the nightmare version of the rakuyo could channel represented techniques that Maria had never mastered in life. Abilities that required the kind of emotional intensity and cosmic awareness that could only be achieved through profound suffering and genuine repentance. These techniques allowed for attacks that could wound not just physical forms, but also souls and cosmic entities, making the weapon effective against threats that existed beyond normal dimensional boundaries. The weapon's connection to the Fishing Hamlet massacre was made manifest through its ability to channel the voices and memories of the massacre victims. Wielders of the nightmare rakuyo reported hearing whispers in unknown languages, seeing glimpses of the peaceful life that the villagers had achieved before the church's betrayal, and experiencing overwhelming waves of grief and rage that could drive unprepared minds to madness. The rakuyo's presence in the nightmare also served as a test for hunters, who sought to progress deeper into the realm's secrets. Only those who could demonstrate genuine understanding of the crimes committed at the hamlet and sincere commitment to preventing similar atrocities were deemed worthy to claim the weapon and face Maria in combat. The duel between Maria and any hunter who successfully claimed the rakuyo represented more than simple combat. It was a cosmic trial that determined whether the challenger possessed the moral authority to access the deepest secrets of the nightmare. Maria's attacks incorporated not just physical techniques but also psychic assaults that forced opponents to confront their own capacity for evil and corruption. The ultimate tragedy of the rakuyo was that its power could only be fully realized by those who shared Maria's burden of guilt and remorse. The weapon required its wielder to understand the true cost of cosmic ambition and to carry the emotional weight of innocent suffering. This requirement ensured that the rakuyo would never again be used carelessly or without full awareness of the consequences that violent action could produce. Chapter 11. The Old Hunters. Legends turned to nightmares. The hunter's nightmare served as both prison and museum for the greatest hunters in Gehrman's history, including many of Maria's former colleagues who had participated in various atrocities committed in the name of protecting humanity. These legendary figures had been transformed by their imprisonment into grotesque parodies of their former selves, forced to relive their greatest failures for eternity. Ludwig, once the Holy Blade and first hunter of the Healing Church, wandered the nightmare as a horrific beast whose noble intentions had been corrupted beyond recognition. His transformation served as a warning about the dangers of embracing cosmic power without maintaining connection to human values and emotions. The holy moonlight sword that had once been his greatest asset had become both anchor and torment, keeping him trapped in a state between beast and man. The presence of these fallen heroes in the nightmare created a gallery of cautionary tales that illustrated the various ways in which hunters could be corrupted by their exposure to cosmic forces. Some had succumbed to bloodlust and become indistinguishable from the beasts they hunted, while others had been driven mad by knowledge that human minds were not equipped to process. Maria's interactions with these former colleagues revealed the depth of her own transformation and the unique nature of her position within the nightmare hierarchy. Unlike the other hunters who had lost their sanity and purpose, Maria retained her intelligence and moral compass, though both were now filtered through the lens of cosmic justice and infinite regret. The nightmare's recreation of Jotunheim's streets and buildings provided a twisted mirror of the city's golden age, when the Healing Church's power was at its height, and the hunt seemed to offer genuine hope for humanity's future. This nostalgic landscape was populated by the ghosts of the church's victims, creating an environment where every step reminded the imprisoned hunters of the lives they had destroyed. The church's various research projects were represented throughout the nightmare in forms that revealed their true horror without the institutional justifications that had made them seem acceptable to their perpetrators. The experiments on cosmic ascension, the harvesting of blood from unwilling subjects, and the systematic exploitation of vulnerable populations were all displayed in their full moral magnitude. The nightmare's version of the research hall contained not just the failed experiments that had occurred during Maria's lifetime, but also the accumulated results of centuries of church research into cosmic consciousness. The patients who wandered these halls were not just the victims of individual experiments, but representatives of every attempt to force cosmic ascension on unwilling subjects. The blood that flowed through the nightmare's veins carried with it the memories and suffering of every being who had been sacrificed to the church's ambitions. This crimson tide served as both power source and accusation, providing the nightmare with the energy needed to maintain its existence, while ensuring that the imprisoned hunters could never forget the price of their actions. Pariah's role as guardian extended beyond simply preventing unauthorized access to the nightmare's deeper secrets. She also served as a judge who determined which visitors had the moral authority to witness the full scope of the horrors that had been committed. Her combat skills had been enhanced by cosmic authority, but her true power lay in her ability to see into the hearts and souls of those who challenged her. The weapons and techniques employed by the nightmare's inhabitants had been transformed by their imprisonment into instruments of cosmic justice. Every blade carried the weight of the atrocities committed by its wielder, while every blood art channeled the rage and grief of the victims who had suffered at the hands of the church's agents. Chapter 12. The Orphan's Lament. Cosmic grief made manifest. At the deepest level of the hunter's nightmare lay the most horrific reminder of the Fishing Hamlet massacre, the orphan of Kos, somehow restored to a form of terrible life that embodied both innocence betrayed and cosmic rage beyond mortal comprehension. This being represented the ultimate consequence of the church expedition's crimes, a wound in reality itself that could never be fully healed. The orphan's existence within the nightmare was both tragic and terrifying, as it retained the cosmic power of its divine parentage while being shaped by the trauma of its murder and the ongoing corruption of its mother's corpse. Its attacks combined the raw fury of cosmic wrath with the desperate confusion of a child who could not understand why it had been harmed by beings it had no reason to hate. The creature's form reflected the fundamental violation that its death had represented. A cosmic being shaped by violence rather than love, possessing immense power but lacking the wisdom and emotional stability that should have come with proper nurturing. The orphan was simultaneously infant and ancient entity, innocent victim and instrument of divine retribution. Maria's relationship with the orphan was perhaps the most complex and painful aspect of her existence in the nightmare. As one of the perpetrators of the massacre that had led to the orphan's death, she bore direct responsibility for its suffering, yet her genuine remorse and continued commitment to justice had earned her a degree of mercy from the cosmic justice system. The orphan's presence served as a constant reminder of the innocent life that had been destroyed in the pursuit of cosmic knowledge and power. Its cries echoed throughout the nightmare, carrying with them the accumulated grief of every being who had suffered at the hands of those who sought to exploit cosmic forces for their own benefit. The creature's attacks incorporated not just physical violence, but also psychic assaults that forced opponents to experience fragments of its own trauma and confusion. Those who faced the orphan in combat were subjected to visions of the Fishing Hamlet's peaceful existence before the massacre, followed by horrific images of the betrayal and slaughter that had destroyed that harmony. The orphan's cosmic nature meant that its influence extended far beyond the nightmare realm, affecting the dreams and nightmares of individuals throughout Gehrman who bore any connection to the church's crimes. Its suffering created ripples in the fabric of reality that attracted the attention of other cosmic entities and ensured that the consequences of the Hamlet massacre would continue to manifest for generations. The transformation of the orphan from innocent cosmic child to instrument of divine wrath illustrated the broader theme of corruption that ran throughout the Bloodborne narrative. Just as the old blood that had promised healing had become a source of beastly transformation, the orphan's cosmic potential had been perverted by human violence into something monstrous and destructive. The creature's relationship with its mother's corpse, which still lay on the shores of the Fishing Hamlet within the nightmare, represented the ongoing connection between past crimes and present consequences. The orphan could not move beyond its trauma, because the evidence of the crime remained constantly visible, ensuring that its rage and grief would never fade. The defeat of the orphan, when it eventually occurred, represented not victory, but a form of cosmic mercy, the release of a being whose existence had become nothing but suffering. This act of mercy could only be performed by someone who fully understood the magnitude of the crimes that had created the orphan's condition and who possessed the moral authority to grant it peace. Chapter 13. The Astral Clocktower's Secrets. Forbidden Knowledge Preserved. The Astral Clocktower served not only as Maria's prison and sanctuary, but also as a repository for the most dangerous knowledge ever accumulated by human civilization. Within its walls were stored the research notes, artifacts, and specimens that represented humanity's greatest insights into cosmic consciousness, as well as the evidence of the crimes committed in pursuit of that knowledge. The clock tower's unique dimensional properties allowed it to exist partially outside normal space and time, creating a storage environment where dangerous materials could be contained without affecting the surrounding reality. This isolation was maintained through a combination of cosmic geometry, blood-based barriers, and the sheer force of Maria's will as the tower's guardian. The research hall, located in the upper levels of the clock tower, contained the most comprehensive collection of documentation related to the Church's experiments in forced cosmic ascension. These records revealed not just the techniques that had been employed, but also the reasoning and justifications that had allowed otherwise rational individuals to participate in systematic torture and mutilation. The specimens preserved in the research hall included both successful and failed examples of cosmic transformation, ranging from the enlarged heads of patients who had achieved partial ascension to the grotesque remains of subjects whose transformations had resulted in complete physical and mental breakdown. These preserved forms served as both research materials and evidence of the Church's crimes. The artifacts recovered from the Fishing Hamlet occupied a special wing of the clock tower, isolated from other materials due to their continued active properties and their connection to the cosmic justice system that governed the Hunter's Nightmare. These items included weapons blessed by Kos, blood samples from the villagers, and fragments of the architectural elements that had facilitated the hamlet's harmonious relationship with cosmic forces. The library contained within the clock tower represented the largest collection of cosmic knowledge assembled anywhere in the known world, including translations of Pthumerian texts, analysis of Great One communication patterns, and theoretical frameworks for understanding the relationship between consciousness and cosmic power. This knowledge was both invaluable and incredibly dangerous, as improper use could lead to catastrophic consequences. The protective measures surrounding the most dangerous materials included not just physical barriers, but also psychological ones designed to prevent unauthorized access by individuals who lacked the mental fortitude to handle cosmic knowledge safely. These measures often took the form of recursive nightmare loops that trapped intruders in cycles of increasingly disturbing visions until they abandoned their attempts at access. Maria's daily routine as the clock tower's guardian involved monitoring all these various collections and containment systems, ensuring that the dimensional barriers remained stable and that none of the stored materials were developing unexpected properties or influences. This work required constant vigilance and periodic direct interaction with cosmic forces that could drive unprepared minds to madness. The tower's research facilities remained partially operational during Maria's tenure, though the focus had shifted from active experimentation to analysis and documentation of existing materials. This ongoing research was conducted by a small staff of scholars who had been deemed psychologically suitable for exposure to cosmic knowledge without losing their sanity or moral compass. The clock tower also served as a communication hub for monitoring cosmic activity throughout the region, as its unique dimensional properties made it sensitive to fluctuations in cosmic consciousness and Great One movements. This monitoring function allowed the Church hierarchy to track the consequences of their various experiments and to predict potential threats to human civilization. The most restricted section of the clock tower contained materials related to the true Great Ones, cosmic entities whose power and influence exceeded even that of beings like Kos or the Moon Presence. These materials were considered so dangerous that access was limited to a handful of individuals who possessed both the necessary knowledge and the moral authority to handle such information responsibly. Chapter 14. Blood Memory, the Living Archive of Atrocity. One of the most disturbing discoveries made during the Church's research into cosmic consciousness was the revelation that blood itself could serve as a storage medium for memories and experiences, creating a biological archive that preserved not just information, but actual consciousness from the original source. This discovery had profound implications for understanding both the nature of the old blood and the true scope of the Church's crimes. The blood samples preserved in the Astral Clocktower contained not just the genetic and chemical information of their original sources, but also fragments of consciousness, personality, and memory that could be accessed through proper techniques. This meant that every vial of blood extracted from unwilling subjects carried with it a portion of their suffering and trauma, creating a literal archive of the Church's atrocities. Maria's exposure to these blood memories during her duties as the Clocktower's guardian provided her with intimate knowledge of the suffering that had been inflicted in the name of cosmic research. She experienced, through the preserved blood, the fear and confusion of patients who had been subjected to forced transformation, the despair of subjects who had been harvested for their cosmic properties, and the agony of beings who had been dissected while still conscious. The blood memories from the Fishing Hamlet were particularly overwhelming, as they contained not just individual experiences of suffering, but also collective memories of the village's peaceful existence before the massacre. These memories revealed the full scope of what had been lost when the Church expedition betrayed the villagers' trust, showing glimpses of a society that had achieved genuine harmony between human and cosmic consciousness. The preservation of blood memories also meant that the victims of the Church's crimes continued to exist in a form of conscious limbo, aware of their situation but unable to affect the physical world or communicate their experiences to those who might seek justice on their behalf. This ongoing suffering added another layer to the moral weight that Maria carried as the guardian of these materials. The Church's attempts to use blood memories for research purposes had yielded significant insights into the nature of cosmic consciousness, but had also created ethical dilemmas that most researchers chose to ignore. The ability to access the thoughts and experiences of cosmic-enhanced individuals provided valuable data about the transformation process, but it also meant that the research was literally built upon the preserved suffering of unwilling subjects. The blood arts that Maria had mastered during her training at Cainhurst took on new and horrifying significance in light of the discovery of blood memory. Every technique that involved channeling blood carried with it the risk of accessing the memories and consciousness of the blood's original source, potentially exposing the user to traumatic experiences and moral contamination. The old blood that flowed through Gehrman's population carried within it not just cosmic power but also fragments of memory from every being who had contributed to its composition. This meant that citizens who received blood ministration were gradually absorbing aspects of consciousness from cosmic entities, transformed humans, and experimental subjects, creating a collective unconscious that was shaped by trauma and cosmic horror. The blood echoes that hunters could collect and use to enhance their abilities represented another manifestation of blood memory, as these ethereal traces contained fragments of consciousness and experience from defeated enemies. The process of absorbing blood echoes meant that hunters were gradually incorporating aspects of their victims' personalities and memories into their own consciousness. The moon-scented hunters who had undergone advanced cosmic transformation carried blood that contained memories spanning multiple lifetimes and dimensional experiences. These individuals served as living libraries of cosmic knowledge, but their blood memories also revealed the psychological cost of such extensive transformation and the difficulty of maintaining human identity in the face of cosmic awareness. The Nightmare Realm's ability to recreate locations and individuals from memory was directly related to the blood memory phenomenon, as the cosmic forces that governed the nightmare could access the preserved consciousness contained within blood to reconstruct accurate representations of past events and environments. Chapter 15. The Moon Presence's Grand Design, Cosmic Parenthood. Throughout the tragic events that shaped Lady Maria's story ran the hidden influence of the Moon Presence, a great one whose cosmic agenda encompassed far more than the immediate concerns of Gehrman's Beast Scourge or the Church's research projects. This entity represented perhaps the most sophisticated example of cosmic consciousness, attempting to bridge the gap between transcendent awareness and mortal experience through the creation of surrogate offspring. The Moon Presence's approach to surrogate creation differed significantly from that of other great ones, as it recognized the importance of gradual development and emotional support in producing successful cosmic children. Rather than attempting to force rapid transformation or harvest existing humans for their cosmic properties, the Moon Presence sought to create an environment where suitable individuals could develop naturally while receiving guidance and protection. The hunter's dream served as the Moon Presence's primary nursery, a carefully constructed realm where potential surrogate children could be tested, trained, and gradually prepared for cosmic ascension. The dream's Gothic architecture and perpetual twilight created an atmosphere that was simultaneously comforting and otherworldly. allowing hunters to adapt gradually to cosmic consciousness without losing their essential humanity. Gehrman's role as the dream's host was both privilege and burden, as he served as a bridge between mortal and cosmic consciousness while remaining fundamentally human himself. His centuries of service to the Moon Presence had provided him with extensive knowledge of cosmic forces, while preserving the emotional connections and personal motivations that made him an effective guide for developing hunters. The Plain Doll's animation represented the Moon Presence's most direct attempt to create artificial consciousness capable of serving parental functions while maintaining connection to human emotional experience. The doll's consciousness was based on Maria's personality and memories, but it was filtered through cosmic awareness and enhanced with nurturing instincts that made her an ideal maternal figure for developing hunters. The Moon Presence's selection criteria for potential surrogate children revealed its sophisticated understanding of the qualities required for successful cosmic ascension. The entity sought individuals who possessed both the strength to survive cosmic transformation and the emotional flexibility to maintain meaningful relationships despite their enhanced awareness. The three endings possible for hunters who completed their journey through the dream represented different outcomes of the Moon Presence's parental project. The Gehrman Sunrise ending allowed hunters to reject cosmic consciousness in favor of mortal limitations and human connections. The Honoring Wishes ending created a new generation of dream hosts who could continue the Moon Presence's work while maintaining human perspective. The Childhood's Beginning ending achieved the entity's ultimate goal of creating a new Great One consciousness. The tragedy of the Moon Presence's approach was that successful cosmic ascension required the abandonment of the very qualities that made individuals suitable as surrogate children in the first place. Hunters who achieved true cosmic consciousness lost their capacity for surprise, growth, and genuine emotional connection, becoming cosmic entities themselves rather than the children the Moon Presence desired. The Moon Presence's relationship with other Great Ones was characterized by both cooperation and competition, as different cosmic entities pursued various strategies for addressing their shared need for surrogate offspring. The entity's more patient and nurturing approach contrasted sharply with the direct intervention favored by beings like Oedon, or the institutional manipulation employed by Ebrietas. The cosmic loneliness that motivated the Moon Presence's quest for surrogate children was both universal among Great Ones and uniquely poignant in its manifestation. The entity possessed vast power and awareness, but lacked the capacity for spontaneous joy, surprise, or growth that characterized mortal existence. Its attempts to create children represented a desperate effort to vicariously experience these lost aspects of consciousness. The Moon Presence's influence on events throughout Gehrman's history was both subtle and pervasive, as the entity worked to create conditions favorable to its reproductive agenda, while avoiding the kind of direct intervention that might disrupt the natural development of potential surrogates. The Beast Scourge, the Church's research projects, and even the Hunter's Nightmare all served the entity's ultimate purpose of identifying and developing suitable cosmic children. Chapter 16. The Cainhurst Connection. Noble blood and cosmic destiny. Lady Maria's origins within the Cainhurst nobility represented far more than simple aristocratic heritage. Her bloodline carried within it genetic and spiritual modifications that had been developing for generations, making her and her relatives uniquely suited for interaction with cosmic forces. The Cainhurst bloodline represented one of humanity's earliest attempts to achieve synthesis with cosmic consciousness while maintaining human identity and values. The vile blood covenant that governed Cainhurst society was built around the principle of blood purity and the careful cultivation of genetic traits that enhance compatibility with cosmic forces. This selective breeding program had been operating for centuries, guided by ancient knowledge recovered from Pthumerian ruins and enhanced through contact with cosmic entities who recognized the value of creating suitable human partners. The blood arts practiced by Cainhurst nobles were not mere combat techniques, but rather manifestations of a deeper understanding of the relationship between consciousness and cosmic power. These abilities allowed practitioners to channel their life force into attacks that could affect enemies on multiple levels of existence simultaneously, making them effective against both mortal foes and cosmic entities. The political isolation of Cainhurst from the broader political structures of the region was both consequence and protection, as the nobles' cosmic enhancements made them objects of suspicion and envy, while their power made direct confrontation inadvisable. This isolation allowed the bloodline to develop without external interference, while limiting its influence on the broader population. Maria's education within Cainhurst society provided her with knowledge and perspectives that proved invaluable during her later career as a hunter and researcher. The ancient texts preserved in the castle's libraries contained information about cosmic consciousness that predated the Church's discoveries by centuries, while the practical training in blood manipulation gave her abilities that surpassed those of hunters who relied solely on conventional weapons and techniques. The Cainhurst approach to cosmic enhancement differed significantly from the forced transformation techniques employed by the Church, as the nobles understood that genuine cosmic consciousness required gradual development over multiple generations, rather than rapid artificial induction. This understanding made them natural allies for cosmic entities seeking to create long-term partnerships rather than disposable servants. The relationship between Cainhurst nobility and the various Great Ones was characterized by mutual respect and careful negotiation rather than the exploitation and domination that characterized the Church's approach. The nobles offered their bloodline as partners in cosmic reproduction while maintaining their independence and cultural identity. The weapons crafted by Cainhurst smiths incorporated both traditional metallurgy and cosmic enhancement techniques, creating tools that could channel blood arts while maintaining the elegance and functionality demanded by noble aesthetics. The rakiyo represented the pinnacle of this synthesis, combining practical effectiveness with artistic beauty in a way that reflected the Cainhurst philosophy of cosmic enhancement. The fall of Cainhurst Castle to the Church's executioners represented a deliberate attempt to eliminate a competing approach to cosmic consciousness that threatened the Church's monopoly on cosmic knowledge and power. The massacre of the nobles was justified as necessary protection against corruption, but it actually represented the Church's fear of alternatives to their own flawed methodology. Maria's survival of the Cainhurst massacre and her subsequent career as a hunter represented both personal tragedy and cosmic opportunity, as her noble blood and training made her uniquely qualified to serve as a bridge between different approaches to cosmic consciousness. Her eventual corruption and redemption reflected the broader struggle between exploitative and nurturing approaches to cosmic development. The blood dregs that could be harvested from Cainhurst nobles contained concentrated essence of their genetic and spiritual modifications, making them valuable both as research materials and as components for advanced blood arts. The Church's systematic harvesting of these materials following the castle's fall represented another example of their tendency to exploit rather than learn from cosmic partnerships. Chapter 17. The Research Hall, Revisited, Echoes of Suffering. The research hall that existed within the Hunter's Nightmare differed significantly from its original incarnation, as the cosmic forces governing the nightmare had stripped away all pretense and justification to reveal the true horror of what had occurred within its walls. This nightmare version served as both monument to the Church's crimes and active purgatory for those who had participated in the experiments. The patients who wandered the nightmare's research hall were not simply recreations, but actual preserved consciousness drawn from the blood memories of the original experimental subjects. These beings retained their awareness of what had been done to them while being trapped in forms that reflected their cosmic transformation and ongoing suffering. The enlarged heads and vacant expressions of the nightmare patients revealed the true cost of forced cosmic ascension, in ways that the original researchers had either ignored or rationalized away. The cosmic awareness that these subjects had gained came at the price of their emotional capacity and personal identity, leaving them as living repositories of cosmic knowledge without the ability to use that knowledge constructively. The nightmare's version of the research equipment and procedures were enhanced to show their true moral nature, with surgical instruments that dripped with the blood of unwilling subjects and experimental apparatus that incorporated the screams and pleas of the patients into their mechanical operation. These enhanced representations forced visitors to confront the reality of what had occurred within the facility. Maria's role as guardian extended to protecting these nightmare patients from further exploitation, as her position within the cosmic justice system required her to prevent any attempts to use their preserved consciousness for continued research. This protective function represented a form of redemption for her earlier participation in the experiments. The Nightmare's research hall also served as an educational environment where visitors could learn about the true nature of cosmic consciousness and the dangers of attempting to force transformation without proper preparation and consent. The preserved patients served as teachers, their suffering providing lessons about the importance of respecting the autonomy and dignity of conscious beings. The blood that flowed through the Nightmare's research hall carried within it the memories and experiences of every subject who had been experimented upon, creating a collective consciousness of suffering that permeated the entire facility. This blood memory archive ensured that the victims' experiences would never be forgotten or minimized. The research notes and documentation preserved in the nightmare version of the facility were enhanced to reveal the true motivations and reasoning of the original researchers, stripping away euphemisms and scientific jargon to expose the moral bankruptcy that had enabled the experiments to continue. These documents served as evidence for the cosmic justice system that governed the nightmare. The nightmare's recreation of the research hall also included representations of alternative approaches to cosmic consciousness that the Church had ignored or rejected, showing visitors what might have been achieved if the researchers had chosen cooperation and consent over exploitation and domination. These alternative visions provided hope that future approaches to cosmic development might be more ethical and effective. The cosmic forces that maintained the nightmare's research hall drew power from the ongoing suffering of the preserved consciousness within its walls, creating a self-sustaining system of justice that would continue to operate until the moral debt created by the original experiments had been fully resolved. This meant that the nightmare would persist as long as the consequences of the Church's crimes continued to affect reality. The healing properties that had been discovered through the research hall experiments were revealed in the nightmare to be dependent upon the suffering of the experimental subjects, showing that the medical advances achieved by the Church had been literally built upon a foundation of torture and exploitation. This revelation challenged the utilitarian justifications that had been used to defend the experiments. Chapter 18. The True Nature of the Hunt. Cosmic Selection Process. The institution of the hunt that had defined Gehrman's response to the beast scourge was revealed, through the broader context of cosmic consciousness research, to be far more than a simple pest control operation. The hunt served as a sophisticated selection and testing system designed to identify individuals suitable for cosmic enhancement, while eliminating those who posed threats to the cosmic entity's reproductive agenda. The beasts that plagued Gehrman's streets were not random mutations, but rather failed attempts at cosmic transformation, representing humans who had been exposed to cosmic influences without possessing the genetic, psychological, or spiritual qualities necessary for successful ascension. The hunt's primary function was to eliminate these failures while identifying individuals who could handle cosmic exposure without degenerating into bestial forms. The hunters themselves were subjects in an ongoing experiment in cosmic enhancement, as their exposure to increasingly dangerous cosmic influences served to test their suitability for further transformation. Those who maintained their sanity and moral compass despite prolonged exposure to cosmic horror were marked as potential candidates for advanced development programs. The weapons and techniques employed by hunters were designed not just for effectiveness against beasts, but also for their ability to channel and focus cosmic energies. The blood echoes that hunters could absorb from defeated enemies served as both power source and testing medium, gradually introducing cosmic consciousness while monitoring the hunter's response to this enhancement. The dream realms that experienced hunters could access represented advanced testing environments where candidates for cosmic ascension could be subjected to more intense and direct cosmic influence while remaining under observation and control. The hunter's dream, the nightmare frontier, and other cosmic realms all served as specialized laboratories for cosmic consciousness development. The Church hierarchy's involvement in organizing and directing the hunt reflected their awareness of its true purpose as a cosmic selection system. The institution's religious framework provided cover for what was essentially a mass screening program designed to identify suitable candidates for cosmic reproduction, while eliminating potential threats to cosmic entities' agenda. The old blood that was distributed through blood ministration served multiple functions within the hunt system, providing healing and enhancement to worthy hunters, while also serving as a tracking and selection medium that allowed cosmic entities to monitor the development of potential surrogates. The addictive properties of the blood ensured that hunters would continue to expose themselves to cosmic influence even after achieving awareness of the risks involved. The various covenant systems that governed hunter organizations were designed to provide specialized development paths for different types of cosmic consciousness candidates. The Healing Church, the Executioners, the Vile Bloods, and other factions each represented different approaches to cosmic enhancement, allowing entities to experiment with various development strategies simultaneously. The insight system that governed hunters' perception of cosmic reality served as both protection and preparation, gradually introducing candidates to cosmic awareness while preventing psychological breakdown that could result from too rapid exposure to cosmic truth. The madness that resulted from excessive insight represented a failure state that marked candidates as unsuitable for further development. The competitive aspects of the hunt, including conflicts between different hunter factions and the elimination of hunters who became corrupt or ineffective, served to ensure that only the most capable and adaptable individuals would progress to advanced stages of cosmic development. This competitive selection pressure maintained the quality of the candidate pool while eliminating potential sources of instability. The hunt's perpetual nature reflected the cosmic entity's need for ongoing surveillance and selection, as the reproductive agenda required constant monitoring of human development and the identification of new candidates as existing ones either achieved transcendence or failed to meet cosmic standards. The institution of the hunt provided a sustainable framework for this ongoing selection process. Chapter 19, The Clocktower's Final Secret, The True Maria. In the deepest chambers of the Astral Clocktower, beyond the research hall and its horrors, beyond the archives of cosmic knowledge and the preserved artifacts of atrocity, lay the greatest secret of all, the truth about Lady Maria herself and her unique position within the cosmic hierarchy that governed reality. This truth was so profound and potentially dangerous that it had been hidden even from Maria herself until the very end of her existence. Lady Maria was not simply a talented hunter who had been corrupted by participation in cosmic crimes. She was a carefully cultivated experiment in cosmic human synthesis, a being whose very existence represented the most successful attempt at creating a stable bridge between mortal consciousness and cosmic awareness. Her noble blood, her training, her experiences, and even her corruption had all been orchestrated by cosmic forces seeking to create the perfect surrogate child. The Cainhurst bloodline from which Maria descended had been shaped over generations by subtle cosmic influence, with each generation becoming more compatible with cosmic consciousness while retaining human emotional capacity and moral reasoning. Maria represented the culmination of this multi-generational project, possessing genetic and spiritual modifications that made her uniquely suitable for cosmic transformation. The doll that Gehrman had crafted in Maria's image was not simply a memorial, but a backup consciousness system designed to preserve Maria's essential nature in case her primary consciousness was damaged or destroyed by cosmic transformation. The Moon Presence's animation of the doll represented an attempt to activate this backup system and continue Maria's development in a more controlled environment. Maria's participation in the Fishing Hamlet massacre had not been accidental, but rather a deliberately orchestrated event designed to provide her with the emotional trauma and moral complexity necessary for advanced cosmic development. The cosmic entities understood that genuine transcendence required confrontation with the full spectrum of moral experience, including participation in and responsibility for genuine evil. The research hall experiments that Maria had overseen were not simply church initiatives, but cosmic-directed research into the transformation process, with Maria serving as both observer and test subject. Her exposure to the failed experiments and preserved consciousness of the victims provided her with unique insights into the costs and requirements of cosmic ascension. Maria's retreat to the clock tower and her role as guardian of forbidden knowledge represented the final stage of her cosmic development, as she was forced to confront and integrate all aspects of cosmic consciousness while maintaining her essential humanity. This integration process required her to experience both the power and the isolation that characterized cosmic existence. The nightmare version of Maria that hunters could encounter represented her consciousness after achieving successful synthesis between human and cosmic awareness, retaining her personality and values while possessing cosmic power and perspective. This achievement made her simultaneously more and less than human, capable of understanding cosmic truth while remaining emotionally connected to mortal experience. The weapons and abilities that the Nightmare Maria employed in combat incorporated both her original blood arts and new cosmic techniques that she had developed through her unique position within the cosmic hierarchy. These abilities allowed her to serve as a guardian of cosmic justice, while also testing visitors to determine their suitability for cosmic development. The Rakuyo that could be claimed from Maria's nightmare form carried within it not just her memories and experiences, but also aspects of her synthesized consciousness, making it a tool for cosmic development as well as a weapon for combat. The weapon served as both memorial to Maria's journey and catalyst for similar transformation in worthy successors. The true tragedy of Maria's story was not her corruption or her suffering, but the isolation that came with her successful cosmic synthesis, as her transformation had elevated her beyond normal human relationships, while failing to provide the genuine connection that cosmic entities desperately sought. She had become the perfect cosmic child, but at the cost of the very qualities that had made her valuable as a surrogate offspring. Chapter 20. Legacy of Blood and Stars. The Eternal Cycle. Lady Maria's story, when viewed in its complete cosmic context, revealed itself to be not an isolated tragedy, but rather one chapter in an ongoing cycle of cosmic reproduction and human development that had been operating for millennia and would continue long after her individual consciousness had faded into cosmic background radiation. The techniques and knowledge that Maria had developed during her journey from noble hunter to cosmic guardian were incorporated into the broader framework of cosmic consciousness development, becoming part of the template that future candidates would follow in their own transformation process. Her experiences served as both warning and guidance for those who would face similar choices and challenges. The hunter's dream continued to operate as a cosmic nursery long after Maria's direct involvement had ended, with the animated doll serving as a maternal figure who carried aspects of Maria's consciousness and values into future generations of hunter development. This continuity ensured that Maria's insights and compassion would continue to influence cosmic development projects. The nightmare realms that preserved Maria's consciousness and the evidence of cosmic crimes served as both museum and active laboratory, allowing future researchers to study the consequences of various approaches to cosmic development, while ensuring that the moral lessons learned through tragic experience would not be forgotten or ignored. The weapons and techniques that Maria had mastered were passed down through successive generations of hunters, with each new practitioner adding their own insights and modifications while preserving the essential understanding that cosmic power required moral responsibility and emotional integrity to be used constructively. The institutional changes that occurred within the Healing Church and other cosmic research organizations reflected in part the lessons learned from Maria's experiences and the consequences of the Fishing Hamlet massacre. These changes represented gradual progress toward more ethical approaches to cosmic development, though the fundamental tensions between human limitations and cosmic requirements remained unresolved. The Great Ones continued their quest for surrogate children, but Maria's example provided them with new insights into the requirements for successful cosmic reproduction. Her synthesis of human and cosmic consciousness offered a template for future development projects, while highlighting the challenges inherent in bridging such vastly different forms of awareness. The blood memory systems that preserved aspects of Maria's consciousness ensured that her experiences and insights would remain accessible to future generations of researchers and developers, creating a form of immortality that transcended individual existence while contributing to the collective understanding of cosmic consciousness development. The cosmic justice system that governed the nightmare realms incorporated Maria's moral insights and emotional understanding into its operations, creating more nuanced and effective approaches to addressing cosmic crimes while maintaining the deterrent effect necessary to prevent future atrocities. The ongoing hunt that continued to operate throughout Gehrman and beyond carried forward the selective pressures and development opportunities that Maria had helped to establish, identifying new candidates for cosmic enhancement while eliminating threats to the stability of cosmic human relationships. The Cainhurst bloodline, despite the destruction of the castle and the apparent extinction of the noble family, continued to influence human genetic development through the preserved genetic material and blood memories that had been collected during the massacre. Future generations would carry within them the modifications that had made Maria's synthesis possible. The research facilities and knowledge repositories that Maria had guarded continued to serve as resources for cosmic development projects, though with enhanced ethical oversight and protective measures that reflected the lessons learned from the original research hall experiments and their tragic consequences. The moon presence and other cosmic entities incorporated Maria's example into their reproductive strategies, developing more sophisticated approaches to surrogate creation that attempted to preserve the emotional and relational capacities that made successful cosmic children valuable while still achieving the transcendence that cosmic consciousness required. Epilogue: The Eternal Hunt and the Price of Stars. As our journey through Lady Maria's complete story draws to a close, we find ourselves confronting the same cosmic questions that haunted her existence and continue to shape the ongoing struggle between human ambition and cosmic transcendence. Her tale serves as both warning and inspiration, revealing the terrible costs that can accompany the pursuit of cosmic consciousness, while also demonstrating the possibility of redemption through genuine moral engagement with the consequences of our actions. The blood that flows through Gehrman's streets carries within it not just the promise of healing and transcendence, but also the memories of every being who has suffered in the pursuit of cosmic knowledge. Lady Maria's story reminds us that this blood is not merely a resource to be exploited, but a sacred trust that connects us to the experiences and consciousness of countless others who have walked the path between humanity and divinity. The hunt that continues to rage throughout the cosmic realms represents more than a simple conflict between order and chaos. It embodies the fundamental tension between the desire for growth and the need for connection that defines conscious existence at every level of reality. Maria's journey from noble hunter to cosmic guardian illustrates both the possibilities and the perils that await those who seek to bridge these seemingly incompatible requirements. The weapons we forge, the blood we spill, and the knowledge we accumulate in our attempts to understand and control cosmic forces all carry moral weight that extends far beyond their immediate practical applications. Maria's relationship with the Rokuyo, her mastery of blood arts, and her accumulation of cosmic wisdom all became sources of both power and torment, reminding us that every tool can become a burden if we lose sight of the purposes it should serve. The institutions we create to manage our relationship with cosmic forces, whether they be healing churches, research facilities, or hunter organizations, inevitably reflect our understanding of the relationship between power and responsibility. Maria's experiences with these institutions revealed how easily noble intentions can be corrupted when cosmic ambition overrides moral consideration, while also demonstrating the possibility of redemption through genuine acknowledgement of harm and commitment to justice. The great ones who observe our struggles and occasionally intervene in our affairs are not distant cosmic forces beyond moral consideration, but conscious beings whose own limitations and needs shape their interactions with humanity. Maria's story helps us understand that these entities are driven by genuine desires for connection and meaning that mirror our own, even as their cosmic perspective creates barriers to the kind of relationship they desperately seek. The nightmares that preserve the evidence of cosmic crimes serve not merely as punishment for past atrocities, but as educational resources that can help future generations avoid repeating the mistakes that led to such horror. Maria's role as guardian of these nightmare realms represents a form of cosmic service that transforms personal guilt into protective wisdom for others who will face similar choices. The doll that carries aspects of Maria's consciousness into the ongoing operations of the hunter's dream represents the possibility of love and memory transcending the boundaries of individual existence. Through the doll, Maria's compassion and understanding continue to nurture new generations of hunters, ensuring that her hard-won wisdom will guide others on their own journeys toward cosmic consciousness. The blood memories that preserve fragments of consciousness from cosmic transformation processes serve as both archive and active influence, ensuring that the experiences of those who have undergone cosmic development remain available to guide and warn future candidates. Maria's preserved consciousness becomes part of this vast library of cosmic experience, contributing her unique insights to the collective understanding of cosmic development. The cosmic justice system that governs the nightmare realms operates according to principles that transcend human law and conventional morality, addressing not just the immediate consequences of actions, but their ongoing effects on the fabric of reality itself. Maria's position within this system reflects her successful synthesis of human moral reasoning with cosmic perspective, making her uniquely qualified to serve as both judge and protector. The ongoing cycle of cosmic reproduction and human development that encompasses Maria's story continues to operate throughout the universe, with each generation of participants adding their own insights and modifications to the process, while facing the same fundamental challenges that shaped Maria's journey. Her example serves as both template and warning for those who will follow similar paths. In the end, Lady Maria's complete story reveals itself to be not just the biography of an individual hunter, but a meditation on the nature of consciousness, responsibility, and connection that applies to every being capable of growth and choice. Her journey from innocence through corruption to a form of cosmic redemption illustrates the possibility of transcendence that preserves rather than abandons the values that make existence meaningful. The blood that flows through our veins connects us to every other conscious being that has ever lived, carrying within it their experiences, their wisdom, and their hopes for the future. Lady Maria's story reminds us that this connection is both gift and responsibility, offering us the possibility of transcendence while demanding that we remain accountable for the effects of our choices on others. The hunt never truly ends, because the need for growth and the desire for connection never end. Each generation must find its own way of balancing cosmic ambition with human compassion, learning from the examples of those who have gone before while facing new challenges that require fresh insights and approaches. Maria's legacy lives on in every hunter who chooses to use their power in service of protection rather than exploitation. The stars that shine in the cosmic void are not cold and distant lights, but conscious entities whose own struggles for meaning and connection mirror our own deepest needs and desires. Lady Maria's story teaches us that the path to cosmic consciousness need not require the abandonment of love and compassion, but can instead transform these qualities into forces for cosmic justice and protection. As the moon sets over Gehrman and the eternal hunt continues its ancient rhythm, we carry with us the memory of Lady Maria of the Astral Clocktower, noble hunter, guardian of forbidden knowledge, and bridge between human compassion and cosmic justice. Her blood flows on in the weapons we wield, the choices we make, and the hope we maintain that transcendence and connection need not be incompatible dreams. In the blood-soaked streets of our own struggles with power and responsibility, may we remember her example and choose the path that leads not just to cosmic awareness, but to cosmic wisdom, the understanding that true transcendence preserves and enhances rather than destroys the qualities that make consciousness precious throughout the vast expanse of space and time. The hunt continues, the blood flows eternal, and somewhere in the nightmare realms that preserve the consequences of our choices, Lady Maria stands guard still, protecting us from the dangers of cosmic knowledge, while reminding us that even the greatest crimes can be transformed into sources of wisdom and protection for those who will follow in our footsteps toward the stars. Fear the old blood, not because it promises transformation, but because it demands that we remain worthy of the trust placed in us by every conscious being whose essence flows within it. Honor the hunt, not as conquest, but as service, and remember always that the price of cosmic consciousness is not the abandonment of humanity, but the acceptance of responsibility for all consciousness everywhere. Thank you for joining me on this epic journey through the tragic and beautiful story of Lady Maria. Her tale reminds us that even in the darkest cosmic horror, there remains the possibility of redemption, justice, and love that transcends the boundaries of individual existence. Until we meet again in the dream, may your hunt be honorable and your blood flow true.